Hey folks, good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Forecasting Space, the show where we talk all things space, from upcoming launches, interesting space news, and more here from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. I like doing this little segment because, of course, I'm a huge space nerd and there is a lot to talk about, not only over the last week, but also what's coming up over the next couple of days. So let's hop right into it, see what we got in store. Well, first things first, as usual, I start off with upcoming launches, and we have a big one coming up just today. If everything goes according to plan, we actually had a scrub yesterday, actually 2 days ago. We're going to have Starship Flight 8, Integrated Flight Test 8 at 5:30 p.m. today, so hopefully things go off without a hitch. We were at 40 seconds the other day, and then we got scrubbed and pushed back to today, so hopefully this is going to be the next one. Of course, this is going to be suborbital, so it goes around almost once in orbit, then the Starship upper stage will re-enter, hopefully without a hitch. Of course, the last time didn't go so well, and that big, huge booster, super heavy booster, will come back, land on the ground back at the Space Center. In fact, actually, it's getting caught. Doesn't have landing legs, gets caught by those arms, those chopsticks armed on Mechazilla. So this is promising to be a very exciting thing, and matter of fact, I hear a lot of folks at SpaceX say that excitement guaranteed. We also have another SpaceX launch here through today. In fact, this is going to be very late tonight, almost at midnight, 11:33 p.m., though the window does close tomorrow morning at 3:30. This is just a standard Starlink launch, Starlink Group 12-21. This is going to be out of the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. We also have a Sphere X and Punch launch. That is a private launch. The spectrophotometer for the history of the universe, epoch of reionization, and ICE's Explorer mission. That is quite a mouthful, a very useful science mission. That's tomorrow at 9:09 p.m. This is going to be launching from Vandenberg Space Force Base. Another Starlink Group 12-16 launch, in fact, on Saturday. That's March 8th at 7:41 a.m. We also have Transporter 14. That's going to be landing on Landing Zone 4, so that's going to be unique. Usually these launches return to a drone ship, right? But Sphere X and Punch will also be doing that, and so will Transporter 13. Transporter 13's, by the way, 12:39 a.m. midnight, almost, just after midnight, Sunday, March 9th, just in a few days here. So we got a busy week, that much is for sure. That seems to be it for launches this week. Although I do want to mention we do have a crew launch this time next week. About 6:48 p.m. Wednesday, March 12th is the launch date for Crew 10. That's about 7-8 days out, but still do want to include that. That's going to also land back at LZ1. Of course, the crew's going to go up there, cycle back, and we'll have a great time there. So that's the launches, and let's see what we got in store here in terms of news, because it's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. I think the interesting thing to talk about of recent is we're back on the moon with a lander from Firefly. Yes, indeed, we have landed back on the moon thanks to Firefly. Now, it's not a manned spacecraft, right? So that shouldn't take away any of your excitement, but don't get any misconceptions, right? This is the Blue Ghost lunar lander that touched down just the other night. What a fantastic thing. By the way, that touched down at 2:34 a.m., so I know those landing crews were probably tired, but that adrenaline was probably flowing. We got some beautiful 4K footage of the landing from Firefly recently. It's got a 14-day mission, and it's going to be pretty interesting. It's inside an ancient crater filled with volcanic material, and it's going to kind of reinvestigate. I say reinvestigate because we've been there before and investigated the rocks there, but we're going to get a new look at the history of the moon, the minerals there, everything like that. I mean, it's just going to be a phenomenal thing. Pretty incredible that this thing survives too. You'll notice here in the footage that it's got this gold foil all around it. That's to protect it from the heat up to 200 degrees and the cold up to minus 250 degrees. Very, very cold and very, very hot conditions out there. Needless to say, the moon is not very hospitable for life, but this is actually kind of paving the way for more permanent lunar stations there over the next decade or so. We're hoping, of course, have some manned lunar stations. So this is just one part in the greater picture of American space dominance there on the moon. I am very excited for the next few years. This is a great trend to set. Little companies like Firefly proving that you don't need to be NASA to get to the moon. Includes news and launches for the week. Now for the photo of the week. Unsurprisingly, I'm a little biased because of this news cycle. Check this out. That Firefly Blue Ghost lander got some fantastic views of Earth from the moon. A triumphant Blue Ghost standing over the lunar mare there. A fantastic shot. There's Earth there on the horizon, that speck there. It's a little overexposed because this is just an initial science diagnostic photo, for lack of a better term, right? It's not trying to look the prettiest ever. It's just raw, pure views from the lander. You can see the silhouette of the lander there, the engine, there at the base of it, its legs, as well as, like I said, Earth there on the horizon. By the way, some people say, hey, why do I not see stars in these photos? That's due to the exposure of the camera. It's the same reason when you take a photo in the daytime, you don't see stars in the sky, or even at nighttime, if you take a short exposure photo, you don't see stars. It's all about the adjustment of the camera. So that's kind of the reason there, but it's just fantastic that we're finally getting views from an American lander of home. All 8 billion of us right there on that spec. How incredible is that? This is the furthest camera pretty much right now that's looking back at us. How awesome is that? It tickles me pink that we're back on the moon. That's one of the most exciting things the last 10, 15 years in space exploration from the United States, and that's only the beginning. Well, that concludes this episode of Forecasting Space. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back with you next week, hopefully with some news as to how that Starship launch went and more.